Dear representatives of Oklahoma, I'm Richard Anderson, Chairman of Oklahoma ADAPT, and today I want to talk to you about employment and Medicaid buy-in. What is employment? Is it something keeps you busy? Is it something keeps you active? Is it something that shows accomplishments from your education? Is it something that keeps you learning and getting better? Is it something that keeps you alive and engaged with society? Is it something that defines who you are? And like it or not, employment also tells society something about you, or perhaps, it's all of those somethings that I just mentioned. So, I think we all can agree that employment is a big part of everyone's livelihood, while also sustaining a healthier mental and physical outlook. In America, there's a saying that is used a lot, and it is, if you work hard, you can be and do whatever you want. I bought into that great-sounding American motto throughout my childhood. I never thought of myself of having a disability, nor was I treated any different until I hit my early 20s. It was then I realized that motto wasn't totally true, at least, not for those who has a physically disability who achieved a higher education and skills to maintain a computer desk job like I have. I found my first job listing in the Norman transcript for a position with the city of Norman doing data entry in 1988. This could not have been any more perfect for me. Perfect location to where I lived and still do. I just graduated from Norman Votech, where I studied for 2 years for that particular position, and so on. 3 weeks after applying, I went over to the city to see where I was at for the position. Since I haven't heard from them, the lady working there literally told me that I didn't get the job because I was overqualified. Overqualified, fresh out of Votech. Who knows what the real reason was, but overqualified. I highly doubt that. It was 2 years prior the ADA law, and I was young, so I didn't know what to do or how, and have the guts to confront that like I do now. When the ADA law became effective on July 26, 1990, I thought, finally, the tables will turn in our favor for employment, like tax incentives for companies who hires us, along with other great things. To make a long story short, it did not, other than cosmetic things. I finally did get a great short-lived job doing web designing at a local internet company in 1998 with the help of Oklahoma University's supportive employment program. Then in 2000, the internet company got bought out, and then I was laid off shortly after. I've been unemployed ever since, due to the lack of a good supportive employment program since the state pulled the grant funding from Oklahoma University's program. During my unplanned unemployment time, I dove in another career opportunity since web design was moving to an in-house part of companies and more intense programming. I started focusing on sharpening my skills in graphic designing. While doing web designing, we had to design and work with graphics, which I took a liking to. In 2021, sadly, people with physical disabilities with great education, skills, and are job ready, still has a hard time getting suitable employment that are aligned with our education and or skills level. Yes, there are organizations that helps people with disabilities with getting employment, but they mainly cater to those with developmental disabilities with low-end job skills, which they are highly equally important. However, this void is leaving the ones who could hold down a mid to high-end job unemployed and government dependent, which we do not want. Now here's where the Medicaid Buy-In program comes into play. If you are lucky enough to land a good job with good pay that complements your education level and or skill level, you lose a very important part of your government benefits, your Medicaid, unless you live in a state that offers Medicaid Buy-In program, something that a person with disabilities really needs to even be employed, because Medicaid covers things that most employer insurance doesn't cover, such as personal care attendants, medical equipment, like wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and the list goes on and on. Most of you are probably wondering how I worked in 1998 without Medicaid. I didn't. Since it was my first real job, I chose to make less pay just to make my resume look good for future employment opportunities, but that never and couldn't had happened anyways, and frankly, I'm glad it didn't, because I would had been making too much as a graphic designer to stay on Medicaid, and I wouldn't had taken a pay cut again knowing that Oklahoma should have had the Medicaid buy-in in place in the early 2000s. Oklahoma needs to quit failing us and keeping us down on government assistance. This state needs to step up and redefine how to get all Oklahomans with disabilities into the workforce, instead of just focusing on a certain group of people with disabilities who get stuck with low-paying jobs with limited pay so that they can still be eligible to stay on Medicaid. Not only is it wrong, it is so illegal. Oklahoma must offer Medicaid buy-in so we can get what we need to maintain a job and get ahead, instead of being held down from old states' policies that doesn't make a lick of sense today, much less 17, 18 years ago. Picture this: on government assistance, to date I make $835 per month. When I started getting government assistance after my mom passed away in 1985, it was $406 per month, and 35 years later, I'm still living in poverty. As of February 2, 2021, the average annual pay for a graphic designer in Oklahoma is $43,922 a year. Just in case you need a simple salary calculation, that works out to be approximately $21.12 an hour, $845 a week, $10 more I get from the government a month, and the monthly income is around $3,660. In the last 17, 18 years, if Oklahoma would had implemented the Medicaid buy-in program, I would have been off of government assistance and paying for my own Medicaid through the Medicaid buy-in program, as well as other people with disabilities. Not only would we gain a fulfilled life, the state of Oklahoma would make more revenue from purchases and taxes from us. Bottom line, we did what we were supposed to do to not be government dependent. Now we need you to step up and hold up your end to make sure that we aren't. Thank you.